Welcome back to another Misery Whip Metals video. Today we are doing some actual sand casting, and we're going to be doing a bunch of mini guns. Finally got this package in. Took almost a month and a half to get in. Finally here, so let's go. Some of you have seen my other 249 saws. I made, probably 30 of them so far, and liked them so much, and they were pretty popular, so I'm going to be doing a lot more guns. Alright, we got a little MG3 there, German machine gun. So first thing, you want to put some baby powder on it. That keeps the sand from sticking. I'm sure most of you are pretty familiar with sand casting. Press down in the mold about halfway, spread the rest of the baby powder over all the other sand, so when you do your second half of the mold, the sand doesn't stick to any of it. Alright, that's called a flask. That one, I believe, is made by PMC. I like to put just a little bit of sand down first and squish it down to capture that detail, and then put the rest of the sand in. Then I'll hammer it down. You want to make it as tight as possible. This is probably the most important part of doing proper sand cast. When you're making the mold, this is going to determine, how detailed your piece is. So yeah, you want to spend some time making the mold actually right. Now this first one, I did everything right, but when I poured it, there was a void right next to the magazine there, so I ended up having to actually redo this one. But as you can see, there's one half, there's the other half. Now the tricky part is to get the machine gun out of the sand without messing up the mold. So I like to tap it a little bit. Sometimes it'll release it a little more. Now I'm trying to pick up the back end there. I pushed it back down, it's broken free. You want to push it back down and kind of make sure that it didn't mess anything up too bad. Now I'm going to be cutting out the sprue. I'm using a real thin metal business card. You can use like a blade of a knife or a razor blade. Just something thin works best. I usually try to go in through the stock because it's kind of a flat area, easy to clean up when you cut the sprue off. I always make a vent hole by the barrel. Now some people make holes, way more vents than I do. I try to keep all my vents on one side of the gun, usually the bottom side, so you can actually capture the top details, the rails, the iron sights, or anything else, any optics or whatever's on there, on the top half of the gun. So, I mean, I've seen some people make real elaborate holes or air vents. These are some other guns that I'll be doing. I'm not going to show you the whole process because you just saw the whole process on one. Little PKM there. So yeah, I mean, if you spend some time, you can get the molds looking good. Okay, let's heat up some silver. This was moose antler I was trying to do that ended up having some holes in it, so we're going to remelt it, repurpose it. Again, using just a map gas torch. I got to figure out how to edit these videos better. I feel like I'm rushing trying to talk and explain everything. Maybe I shouldn't have sped it up so much, but oh well, we're still learning. Once you get your mold together, you can see in the background I have it clamped. Normally I use 2 C-clamps, one on either side of the flask there, but my 1-year-old ran off with one of them, so I'm down to one right now. So kind of figured out a different method to clamp it. Get a little piece of plastic on either side, and it's holding it together pretty well. You want to get your silver really hot as you can. With the map gas, that could be kind of tricky. Basically, you're just gonna want to hold it under the flame even longer. When I first started, I used to do it, it's melted, it's all rotating around like that, it's not sticking anywhere, it's good to pour. Well, you actually want to sit there and hold the flame on a little bit longer, and you can kind of tell it'll get the whole silver puddle will kind of be glowing a bright red, and that's when you know it's ready to pour. The hotter it is, the better your mold's going to be. You're not going to have any pitting, or the better your cast is going to be. You won't have as much pitting. It'll fill up all the details better. It'll look more smooth, and that's less work you got to do afterwards, which you're going to see is probably the most labor-intensive part. So now we're just going to get it out. I'm going to dunk it in some water to cool it down, and then, not showing on video, I'm going to scrub all the sand off, kind of see what we're working with. And again, this one actually didn't turn out good. I had to redo it, but Here's a different one I cast. This is the one I chose to show you guys how. If you want to rewind that, you can kind of see all the chunks still on it. It looks really rough. They all do when they first come out. And now is when the real work begins. I got a little Dremel tool, and I use a bunch of different bits. This is just some cutting wheel that I'm getting all the big stuff off of. And I don't show every little part because this video would end up being 30 minutes long, even fast forwarded. But yeah, you want to spend some time grinding off the little imperfections and kind of making it look like an actual gun. So be slow, be careful, take your time, be patient. The more time you take, getting this right, the better it's going to look, obviously. So I'm kind of cutting out around the stock and around the handle, just the little bits of silver that stick out all over the place. And eventually, once I cut all the big stuff off, I'm going to take a sanding wheel and get some of that out. I've got some other little, deburring bits and all that kind of stuff. But again, I don't show it on this video. This is mainly just going to be the cutting wheel. I would recommend wearing gloves. The silver does heat up, which is why I got that little bowl of water there. Dunk it in every now and then to cool it down. I'm wearing a face shield. I've had these little cutting wheels explode many times, and getting one of them in your eyes is not a good day. So I wouldn't just wear safety glasses. I would try to get a whole face shield. Also, I've sliced my fingers open with these cutting wheels a lot, so gloves would be a good thing. But do as I say, not as I do, I guess. So yeah, this is kind of just a tedious process. It is kind of fun though, seeing whatever piece you're doing come together, and you kind of shape it more and really work on getting some of them details to pop. After this is done, I'm going to antique it. Well, I'm going to stamp it first and then antique it. It can be kind of hard stamping these little guns because they, obviously, if you've worked with real small pieces of silver like this, real thin pieces anyways, it's very soft, so it's easy to bend. And when you're stamping it, it obviously gets all bent out of shape if you go too hard. So you gotta bend it back into shape, and there's a lot more to it. I don't believe I show any of the stamping or antiquing in this video. Y'all have seen that in the last video, and I'll make a whole other video on antiquing and stamping later. Looks like that's coming to a close. So here's the final product of all the different guns. Got a little flare gun, we got an M249 saw, MG3, DP28, a little Mauser broom handle, and a PKM machine gun in the back. I also have Thompson that is not shown in this video, so we'll be doing that later. But yeah, the flare gun turned out really cool. I enjoyed it. All these are going to be prototypes except the saw, because I've already made several of them. These are all currently being auctioned off on the Real Money Silver, Gold, and Platinum Facebook page. I'm going to auction them off as a set so someone can grab all of them prototypes. I love that little broom handle right there. That's a pretty sweet piece. I'm going to be getting more pistols. But right now I just have these two little ones. I do have a couple of bigger ones. I have a bigger Mauser like that. It's about 4 ounces when it's all said and done. And then I've got a 1911. It's about 3 ounces. So there's a saw. It's a favorite. I made 20 of those for one dude. That was quite the order. As you can see, the details on there are pretty awesome. Got the rail on top, and the hardest one to do, I think, was probably, I don't know if it's this next one. Let's see. The DP28. No, that's the MG3. But the DP28, which you'll see in a minute, it's got that crazy, looks like a, what do you call it? A Frisbee magazine on top. Big circular magazine that's laying parallel to the ground. Super cool, unique looking weapon. But trying to get that to, get all the details captured was kind of tough. So we did the best we could. But yeah, this guy right here. I've never seen anyone make one of these before, so Hopefully I can say I'm the first. I'm probably not, but it's a pretty fun little gun. I think this one came out to about 16 grams. So pretty affordable. Usually Sandcast costs quite a bit because there's tons of work that goes into them. It's not just pouring silver into a mold. But yeah, there's a little PKM. Also a pretty cool gun. So yeah, I plan on doing a lot more. I've got about 12 other guns that I'm getting ready to purchase, and then I'm going to build a bigger flask so I can do much bigger firearms and other stuff. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'll try to do a more in-depth video later on. I just wanted to get this out because that was cool. Thanks for watching.